Welcome to sports, everybody. I'm Chris Saunders. Team Bahamas is getting ready to head to the Olympics in London, and the Bahamas Olympic Committee expects to name a team by Friday. At least one swimmer will be on that team, presumably Ariana Vanderpool-Wallace. But the track team will be a very different story. We have some athletes who have made the A standard and some who have qualified at the B standard, so the BOC will have a very difficult job in naming the team. Now, one of those who will more than likely make the cut is hurdler Shamar Sands. The 110 hurdler was at the top Bahamian at the Olympic trials, and he's looking forward to making the trip over the pond for the Games.
I'm just happy to be on the track. You know, I've had a couple of years of nagging injuries, and just to be on the track is a blessing for me. So every race I take it, you know, with a blessing. In the hurdles, you know, you could always clean up something. And with me, I need to work on the end part of my race. You know, I'm naturally a good starter, so I have to work on finishing stronger, you know, and staying technical by the end of the race. You know, I think I can make the final, you know, and once I make the final, anything is possible, but, you know, with me, it's just staying healthy, you know, I believe this year I'm healthy, and I know God with me, my family with me, my friends, so good things about to come.
Some NBA news now. The Phoenix Suns literally rolled out the orange carpet for Bahamian-rooted Eric Gordon. They signed him to a 4-year, $58 million offer sheet that the Hornets will have 3 days to match when league business actually resumes on July the 11th. Now, several news outlets have reported that the Hornets plan to match that max level offer and retain the 23-year-old shooting guard. It would seem unlikely, though, that the New Orleans Hornets would voluntarily surrender its main prize in the Chris Paul deal over quibbles about a few $1 million and Gordon's knee. So we'll have to wait to see what happens next week to see what happens with Gordon. The Bahamas Amateur Cycling Association's 39th annual Independence Road Race is set to take place on Saturday, starting and finishing at the Clifton Heritage National Park. Jonathan Benson has more.
With the Bahamas gaining its independence in 1973, the Bahamas Amateur Cycling Federation decided to put on an event to celebrate this historic milestone, and almost 40 years later, this national road race is still going strong. Organizer Baron Turbo Musgrove tells us what we can expect at this year's event.
That area will be swarming with cyclists from all over the Bahamas, Freeport, Exuma, Abaco, and Eleuthera, and of course, the Nassau cyclists. This particular event has several categories. We have the 72-mile road race. We have the senior 3, the senior 4, our novice, our juniors, our cadets. We have categories for everybody. We have the open females, which is 24 miles, and the females along with the juniors and the novice will compete in a 25-mile road race, which will cover 4 laps of a 6-mile course.
President of the Bahamas Amateur Cycling Federation, Roy Colebrook, says it's a pleasure for this to be one of the only sports events in the country to coincide with independence.
We are very happy to be still continuing on this race for such a long time, and now you know it has become our national race, which is the premier race for us here, recognizably here in the country. We have other major races, but this one is the one where you hold the national crown. So this is the major race where everyone comes out and they have bragging rights and they pick their persons who they want to win and everything else. We believe this year is going to be a lot of change-ups, especially with our young elite juniors, and so the seniors are going to be in for a surprise.
Cycles Unlimited has been a proud sponsor of the Independence Road Race for the past 34 years, and it's easy to understand why this is such a perfect fit.
Part of what keeps us sponsoring the race is that every year there are tons of new cyclists, and we think it's good in terms of not only for our business, but health-wise. A lot of people are getting into cycling, and as well as for avoiding other injuries.
Application forms for the Independence Road Race are available at Cycles Unlimited. Competitors have until 7:30 on the morning of the competition to turn them in. Jonathan Benson, ZNS Total Sports.
All right, Jonathan, thanks a lot. That's all the time for sports. I'm Chris Saunders. Your final look at weather is still to come.